All right, good morning everybody. Brad over here at Snakeeater Performance. And so I got into the shop early today so that I could do this video without all the machines running and everything and the air conditioning unit and whatnot. And so we have here a package from a customer. Now the customer purchased, these are our Pro Series 1500s. They used to be called the GB 1400s. He purchased these like a year plus ago, about to go to install them, decided to have a flow test done before he installed them. And he said that 2 of them are out of spec. It's a set of 8 in here. And he just wants to get them worked out before, you know, he goes and installs them in his vehicle. It sounds like it's a pretty high dollar build. It's a newer Trackhawk. And so good on him getting them flow tested before installing, because it's a very expensive car, you know, and he figured he'd spend the extra 100 or 200 or whatever and have peace of mind. I get it. But I know for a fact that's not true. And I'm willing to show you guys right now. So come with me. As you can see, taped shut. And let me double check, but yeah, I got a tape over the customer's address. This is just as we've received it. And I'm gonna go through the whole rig with you guys. I'll time lapse some of it later on in editing, but basically I'm gonna just do everything with you guys. I like doing these. I was gonna think about doing it on as a Facebook Live. However, it's 7:03 a.m. I don't think anybody's gonna see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so leave the package there. This is a little sheet. Injectors labeled 1 and 3 are the ones in question. The rest seem to flow good. Test them, let me know. Thank you, customer. Hopefully I did not just have to show that return sheet on there. I was trying to keep everybody's name and address out of that. I hope I don't have to do any editing now. So. I think my AirPods died in the middle of it. Sorry guys, I'll talk louder. Okay, so what we do now, this is just what we do whether we're doing a service or an initial order like flow match. We run a couple thousand injections through them at about 50% duty cycle. And the reason we do that is just to make sure there's no air anywhere in the fuel system, because obviously we just had a ton of air in it. So we'll remove all the air, but then we're also looking to kind of just warm the injectors up, so to speak, warm up the fuel system and everything, kind of get it up to operating temperature. That way we get more consistent results. Okay, about 1,500 injections. That's less than we would normally do if this was like a flow match for an order, but I feel pretty confident we're gonna be good here. So we're gonna set our pressure with our new test settings through the as new remote control or advanced control software. So I'm gonna go through, get the pressure set to 43 PSI. You'll see me kind of fiddling with the machine, and then you'll actually see it start to fill the tubes after that. Okay, so I mean, you can already kind of see right here, flow match. At least at that pulse width and duty cycle. That test represents about 75% duty cycle. It's 15 millisecond pulse width and about 6,000 RPM. Anyways, they all flow between 50 and 51 mLs on that test. So I'm gonna go ahead and drain the tubes, reset my pressure for the next setting, which is about 20% duty cycle. And we'll run essentially the same test again. It'll take a little bit longer. Okay, now flow match. Definitely definitely within specification, this would not cause any issues in any way. Remember, it was injectors 1 and 3, and those seem to have possibly the most average flow of all of them. This one's a 51, 51, 51, maybe and a quarter. 51 and a half, 51 and a half, 51 and a half, 51, 51. So that definitely within specifications. I don't know how you get that specifically, like in this instance, but I can show you an instance how you get that. Like, it's really simple. It's hard to do with the ASNU machine because the ASNU has the electronics and the pump for these larger motorsport injectors. However, you can set this thing up wrong, especially easily if you don't have the advanced control software. So we'll set it up, and what a lot of people do because most companies are not going to have the advanced software, that most people aren't going to have an ASNU machine because they're, you know, $10,000 to $15,000 depending on whether or not you want the bench power supply to make sure you're getting accurate power every single time, and the advanced control software, or just the stock machine. Just the machine by itself is over $10,000, but you start adding in all the other stuff to build a full workstation, it gets expensive. What a lot of people do is they set it up to run. Let's do a little slower here. See how it's batch firing? It's firing all the injectors at once. Now see your pressure here? See how it's bouncing? That's because the pump cannot supply the pure cubic feet per minute, the volume of flow required to maintain pressure here at the regulator, because the injectors are so large. And so you then get inconsistency across here. I still think they'd probably flow okay in that regard, but if you get out one of those little smaller flow benches, they're usually like red, like Launch or Tool or something like that. They're not made for a motorsport injector. They're not made for high flowing injectors. People can modify them and get good results with that. So I've heard. I've never seen it, but I've heard. I don't have any reason to doubt that. But they just can't supply these motorsport injectors, these larger motorsport injectors. Really, they shouldn't be charging people for it, in my opinion, because you get inconsistencies. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong here. I mean, you guys saw it, right? This guy unfortunately just spent, I'm guessing probably industry standard is about $25 per injector to service them, flow test them. That's pretty common. It'll run you about $200 to do a set of 8, and so he spent $200 to get a result that, in my opinion, was inaccurate. Then he had to spend to ship them back to me, and then I'm not going to charge him for a service in this instance because it's totally fine. This is it for me. I'm going to show him this video, I'm going to pack him up, and I'm going to ask him to pay return shipping, and that's about it. So, but imagine, it's very likely that, a company will want you to pay for their time and their machinery use. These machines don't pay for themselves unless you start charging people, and so people are going to charge you. No fault on his own. He took him to a guy, he thought he was doing right, so I'm not gonna beat him up over it. But I mean, these are good, nothing wrong. I don't know what else to say there. Yeah. All right, guys, have a good day.